Hello everyone and welcome back to another SportStatMedia video. I'm going to be your host Andrew today, and there have been some rumors circulating around recently about Jamal Adams, the strong safety for the New York Jets. He might potentially be traded to a team with a need for strong safety or a contender, and their rumored value for him is going to be a first-round pick and a third-round pick. And to me, I don't think that they're going to be able to squeeze this value out of Jamal Adams. He's a guy that, he has 2 to 3 years left on his contract. And, the team that trades for him is going to want to sign him to a long-term deal. But for me, if the Jets can work out a long-term deal, whether it be more expensive or not, that would be the best option for the Jets, because they're not going to be able to get this much value out of Jamal Adams at his current state, at least. He is a superstar safety, plays all around the field though, can play in the slot, can play some linebacker, some edge for you. He's a lot like an Isaiah Simmons type, but he's not quite on that level yet. So today we're going to be reviewing 3 trade options that I have for Jamal Adams, and these aren't, super likely, but if they did happen, they would be the most likely trade scenarios for me at this current moment. And I chose 3 teams. One of them is going to be super obvious, and the other 2 are going to be kind of outlandish, so stick around to take a look at those. But while you're here looking at the video, go ahead and comment your takes down below. Which teams do you think I have trading for Jamal Adams, or what team do you think should trade for Jamal Adams? I think, that you got to look at them being a contender and also being a team that has a need at safety or is going to have a need at safety in the future. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first team that I have trading for Jamal Adams would be the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is the most likely scenario. Adams is from Texas. The headquarters, I believe, is only about 15 minutes away from Jamal Adams' hometown. So the trade that I have outlined right now would be Michael Gallup and a third-round pick. Now, let me tell you some reasons why this makes sense and some reasons why they wouldn't do this trade from both sides. The reason that this makes sense to me is the Jets have a huge need at receiver right now. They lost Robbie Anderson. Of course, they drafted Denzel Mims, but he's not going to be able to replace the production that number 1 wide receiver, Robbie Anderson, have. And Michael Gallup had a 1,000-yard season last year, and the Jets just do not have a lot of guys at that position. Quincy Enunwa was signed to a big contract, but he has been in and out of the league for the past few years with injuries and everything. So they might look at a guy to replace him. And for the Dallas Cowboys, you're getting a superstar strong safety to go along with Xavier Woods, Clinton Dix, and to really enforce that defense. He'll be a stud automatically, and he can also play all around the field in Mike Nolan's new system. So that would be a great acquisition for them. And the third-round pick, obviously, you can get some quality third-round pick guys with the third-round pick, but overall, the value for the Cowboys would be great, and the Jets would be getting back a star wide receiver and a potential pick that could replace Jamal Adams or another position of need like an edge rusher or something in next year's draft. So this trade makes a lot of sense, but there's also some reasons why it wouldn't make sense. The Cowboys are star-studded at wide receiver. They have CeeDee Lamb, they have Amari Cooper, and trading away Michael Gallup, that weakens that position that is a strength, and you'd have to find a replacement for a guy who was 1,000 yards last year. And even though CeeDee Lamb is going to take some of those receptions, I expect Michael Gallup to go over 1,000 yards again with Amari Cooper, and this could be a big breakout season for Michael Gallup, even bigger than last year was. And he missed some games last year, so the fact is he's only going to go better from this point. And I don't know if you want to trade away that value, even for Jamal Adams, who you still have to negotiate a contract with in the next few seasons. The third-round pick, also, Cowboys have gotten a lot of players with third-round picks. Some examples would be, off the top of my head, Connor McGovern, potentially a replacement for Travis Frederick next season. Michael Gallup himself was a third-round pick. some different guys who, can just really fill some positional needs, and you might be able to get a star player with that 3rd round pick in next year's draft. So for me, the Dallas Cowboys might make this trade, but they also might just simply give up the draft capital to get Jamal Adams. So this is my trade outline. This is what I would do if I were the Jets. I'd offer this to the Cowboys. But let's go ahead and move into the next trade. So the next trade that I have is for the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins are a team who have improved the most, in my opinion, from last season to this season. They had a great offseason. Got a lot of star defensive players, Kyle Van Noy, a lot of them from the Patriots. And so I expect them to be in the trade market for star players. And here's the reason why this Jamal Adams trade makes sense to me. It'd be a 1st round pick and a 5th round pick. The Dolphins have 2 1st round picks. You have to decide which one of those you want to give up. The Texans just trade away Hopkins. Are they going to be contenders next year? You have to wait and see. But the Miami Dolphins could potentially give up their own trade their own pick and a 5th round pick for Jamal Adams. They have a lot of draft capital over the next few years. And Jamal Adams is going to be a guy who is going to be worth that 1st round pick. He's going to come in immediately and start at that strong safety position. And for the New York Jets, you get a 1st round pick. You get to pick a replacement for Jamal Adams or another position of need, and that way you have 2. Maybe you want to trade up and get like a Gregory Rousseau at the top of the draft or something of that nature. So this trade is very good for both sides. The reasons that it doesn't make sense, though, the Dolphins and the Jets, obviously in the same division, you hardly ever see interdivision trades. And the Miami Dolphins are paying a lot of money for Rashad Jones, Eric Rowe, and some other guys. Rashad Jones, obviously they cut this offseason, so they're paying a lot of money to that strong safety position. And do they really want to increase that and pay even more to that strong safety position? We'll have to see. But this trade would be a great one to really fill out the Miami Dolphins roster, give them a player with some versatility that Brian Flores and the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins can really play around with and move all across the field. And now the final trade that we have is for the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I think that the Baltimore Ravens could be a little bit of a shocker that come in here and steal Jamal Adams from the rest. They've been said to have interest in Jamal Adams. And so here's a trade that I've outlined. And this might seem kind of stupid at first, but once you take a deep look into it, it'll actually make sense. It'll be Earl Thomas and a 4th round pick for Jamal Adams. Here's why it works for both sides. And this seems like a very good scenario coming out of it for the Jets. The Jets get Earl Thomas, who's towards the back of his career, but he's still a star player. He can start at one of your safety positions with Marcus May, and then you get the 4th round pick. You can trade that up for numerous things, or just trade it back away for another player. We'll have to wait and see, but Earl Thomas is a star player. Obviously, the reason why the Ravens would do this trade, you're getting a younger safety to start at your strong safety position. You can move Chuck Clark to free safety and have that kind of duo safety tandem. And you're trading away Earl Thomas, who's had some problems. We've obviously seen him, do some awful things in the past couple weeks. So you're getting rid of those problems on an organization that's really top level, and you want to keep it that way for a guy who's young and is still, not even at his full potential yet, and he is only going to grow. So you're basically trading away 1-star safety for a younger, strong star safety. So that's why it makes sense to me for the Baltimore Ravens. Reasons it wouldn't make sense, the Ravens are contenders, and they might want to just stay where they're at. And you're going to have a lot of big contracts coming up in the next few years. You have to decide how much you're going to pay Lamar Jackson, how much you're going to pay Marquise Brown, and then you throw Jamal Adams in there, and that's a lot of contracts to dish out. You have Marlon Humphrey, who's going to be requiring a contract soon. There's a lot of guys who you're going to have to pay a lot of money to, and they're already contenders, so they might not want to make a lot of moves, to be in that Super Bowl next year. But at the same time, acquiring Jamal Adams increases your Super Bowl odds severely. So this would be a good trade for the Baltimore Ravens. And the New York Jets might not want to do this trade because they'd have to acquire the contract of Earl Thomas, which is another thing for the Baltimore Ravens. They would have to pay out the guarantees in Earl Thomas's contract if they were to acquire him, if they were to trade him away, to the New York Jets. And the Jets, you're getting a guy who's towards the end of his career versus a guy who's 21, 22, 23 years old at that safety position, who's still going to grow and become a star in this league. So that's why I can't really see the Jets trading away Jamal Adams. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Even financially, you're going to have a lot of cap space pretty soon once some of those worst deals, that are going to get freed up, and then you'll be able to bring Jamal Adams in and sign him to a long-term deal. So for me, I wouldn't trade him away quite yet. Even if you have to franchise tag him, you're still going to be able to work out something long-term, hopefully, between the two parties. So I'd wait on trading him until a later date. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of SportStatMedia. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. While you're down there, subscribe to see more videos like this. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and share this video with your friends and family members. I'm sure that they will enjoy it too. If you don't think Jamal Adams will get traded to one of these three teams, comment your takes down below if you disagree. Name another team and another trade option, and we'll respond to you down below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.